Right. So today, once again, we are gathered here, and I want to thank the participants that have come through, especially for supporting the cause to share knowledge and to share experience and give each other advice on how to build those visions and those businesses. We've been running these innovation boot camps since beginning of April, and I believe we've had great feedback from our speakers. We have covered topics that mainly have to do with how to approach investors, how to pitch to investors, how to build a business model that incorporates innovation and creativity, how to able to pitch to investors. And we also ran a business idea competition in the last round of the series of webinars, which produced some winners who have been exposed to some mentoring. And we've got some international mentoring webinars that have been running as well, as we bring in different speakers from established multi-million-dollar companies that are have been able to build sustainable business models. So we just want to thank everyone who has come through and spoken on these webinars. And once again today, we're tackling the issue of funding. The reason why we are tackling the issue of funding is that although we appreciate that startup entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs at growth stage are carrying economies, contributing to the building of economies and GDP in most developing African countries, they do, however, face a collapse or deterioration in growth due to lack of funding. So as you know, we are passionate about the issue of creating platforms where we avail funding to startups. E4Impact Foundation is one foundation that is on a great drive to be able to enable platforms to for entrepreneurs to access funding, for entrepreneurs to access market linkages. And before we carry on, I want to give you a brief of who we are, who is E4Impact. So I'll share my screen and just be able to share with you who is E4Impact and what is our passion when it comes to entrepreneurs. E4Impact Foundation is definitely passionate about not teaching entrepreneurship, but training impact entrepreneurs. We have been carrying out these boot camps because we are passionate about transferring knowledge from experts, professionals, established captains of industry, and visionaries, entrepreneurs who are visionaries, to be able to bring out more impact entrepreneurs. E4Impact Foundation is a spin-off of the Catholic University of Milan and is dedicated to promote impact entrepreneurship. Our vision is to create the largest Pan-African alliance of institutions and universities that train and coach and build impact entrepreneurs in Africa and the Middle East. We partner with universities across Africa. In the moment, we can say we have relationships with 20 universities in 20 African countries where we have built programs at MBA level, the Global Impact MBA in Entrepreneurship, at certificate level, and at basic entry level entrepreneurship training in our workshops through our accelerators to build impact. Through that as well, those programs that we've built, we've partnered with different institutions in these countries to be able to create partnerships and market relations to build an ecosystem around these entrepreneurs that will allow them to scale their businesses or grow their ideas. Our program focuses on entrepreneurs that are at idea stage, startup stage, and growth stage when needing to scale. The advantages of the E4Impact family is a case whereby we are, like I said, we are passionate about funding and finding investments for our students and our alumni. With over 2,000 alumni that have been exposed to our program, 2.5 million in investment has been transacted. Our alumni have started new businesses where they've experienced growth at above 50%. Our alumni has accessed, 31% of our alumni have accessed finance and have actually managed to increase their turnover by 81% and increase their client base by 87%. So strategic partnerships sealed after the MBA level, sealed after our certificate level courses and through our accelerators with our acceleration initiatives have been at 2.6 plus 2.6. We just hope that you will join the E4Impact family. Please go through all our social media platforms and you'll be able to see who to contact in your country. Right here on this webinar, please go to our chat room if you are if you want to know who is the program leader or the business coach or which university we are working with in your country. We'll be able to, someone will respond to you and give you the name. I will also introduce at the end countries that are launching new editions of programs in the MBA program at the end of this presentation. We're very passionate to make sure that our impact entrepreneurship programs are very, very adaptive and in context to the environments that we get into in the African countries where we offer this MBA. We practice an approach which is very flexible, appreciating that most of our students are actually operational and have existing business. They're entrepreneurs on the ground. So we don't want them sitting in the class receiving theory. We want a program that is flexible and very practical enough for them to be able to pick up what they need and go and apply it. So we have a block release approach where we have lectures and a few weeks later, we have an assignment being handed in, and a few weeks later, we have exams depending on the accreditation in each country. This gives the entrepreneur room in between to apply the actionable tools that they have learned in the different modules. We have our international faculty from different countries as far as the United States, Hungary, Europe, who actually come in as well to take what we call boot camps. We have the strategy business model bootcamp based on the business canvas model, the go-to-market bootcamp, finance model bootcamp, and investor bootcamp where you are learning how to pitch investors. In that, we create international entrepreneurs because they are trained by international entrepreneurs. International entrepreneurs, regional entrepreneurs, continental entrepreneurs like our speaker today come through and coach and mentor and create links to local partners and institutions that can create value in the value chain. We create platforms locally, regionally, and internationally for you to be able to access investors and access to Italian businesses through fairs. We've just had one of our alumni come from the Mark Fruit Fair that was in Rimini in Italy last week, and he managed to be able to exhibit and showcase what the digital technology that he has developed around farmers in Rimini. We also encourage you to come through to the Catholic University of Milan and gain a diploma. Our programs in the African countries that we're in most have dual accreditation, whereby you are getting an accreditation from the local university as well as Catholic University of Milan, but you can come through to Italy and get your diploma. We're passionate about gender equality and equity, and therefore we make a deliberate action to make sure that we involve women in our programs and encourage women to carry on and create platforms to make sure that women have access to the training. So therefore, jobs have been created, 8,160 jobs have been created for women, and 33% of our enrollment has been women. As I said, over 2,000 entrepreneurs, and our alumni are continuously creating jobs. Like we said, we are impact entrepreneurs, and our passion is not to create job seekers, but to create job creators. We're excited to tell you that if you want to join the E4Impact family and enjoy these benefits, we are starting a program in Ethiopia at St. Mary's University in October. Please contact Mekedela, and he will be our program leader, and he'll be able, our area manager, he'll be able to assist you to apply and know the criteria to join. Tangaza University in Kenya has an edition starting in October 2021. Jeketule is there to assist you, and his details are right there. In Sudan, Yusuf at the University of Medical Science and Technology is there to assist you as well. In Sudan, we are kicking off another edition. Ghana, kicking off an edition, please contact Andrews at the University of Professional Studies. In Zimbabwe, the Catholic University of Zimbabwe, please contact Dennis. An edition is kicking off in February 2021. And in Mozambique, at the St. Thomas University, an edition is kicking off in February 2021. Please contact eBay. Join the E4Impact family and become an impact entrepreneur, or participate in building strong communities that are able to change the livelihoods of the communities that the entrepreneurs operate in, and contribute to your economy and grow and scale your GDPs. So that's our passion as E4Impact, and that's our vision as E4Impact, and we hope you join it very soon. Thank you very much. Like I said, please, can you go to our social media platforms, and you'll be able to find our contact. This webinar will be also showcased on YouTube, our YouTube channel, and we hope that you will enjoy our speaker. Thank you very much. Let me stop sharing, and then I'm able to properly introduce our speaker for tonight. I'm very excited to introduce Emmanuel Anni Acquah to you. And he is an individual who has placed himself at the very front of business partnerships with a goal to make impact in activities that he engages himself in. He brings a lot of energy to teams and displays leadership qualities and enhances effort and achievement. So we hope that today we'll be able to understand business performance, which is one of his passions, through analytics, forecasting, business control, investment appraisal, financial reporting, contract negotiation, and tax planning. Emmanuel has a passion for reaching out to communities and startups, hence he is here today, and especially to distill timeless corporate lessons and applicable to growth and enterprise. So we want to welcome you. He is an MBA from Manchester, a fellow Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. So thank you very much for joining us today, this evening. And let me hand over to you.
Hello. All right, thank you, Beta. I lost sound for a couple of minutes, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I was introducing you.
Right.
So yes, I was introducing and sharing your profile to our speakers today. So you can take it off. We will have 15 minutes at the end of this session to go through our questions. Our participants have sent questions, but if you have any burning questions, an issue that you feel we haven't addressed, please go to the chat boxes and please type your question for Annie. So we've got the last 15 to 20 minutes to be able to ask questions and have Annie respond to us. Annie, over to you.
Okay, thank you very, very much for this opportunity to share with you. And a very good evening or afternoon or morning, wherever you join in around the world. So as Beta said, my name is Anni Acquah. Can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So today I'll be sharing with you a little bit about seed funding for new businesses, and I'll try as much as possible to leverage on my experience as well as the experience of Bridge-Tailor Consulting in this area, so that the time we spend together is more insightful to you. So as by means of expectation, just as we are talking about seed planting, I'll try to borrow some words from farming, right? So if you want to farm, you basically try to prepare your land, choose the land. So in this stage, you just look at the background around seed funding. Then you think of, the hard work of plowing your land to make it ready for planting, or for people to come and invest in your business. And then the last bit will be after you have got some people who are interested in investing in your business, then how do you do to lock in that opportunity so that your business will benefit from that interaction? So this is basically what we are trying to do today. Hopefully that should cover 95% of the topic. And then I'm hoping that your questions will be able to cover the rest of the scope, which I may not have covered. Yeah. So this is the plan that we are going to follow today. But right before I start my presentation, I want to give a disclaimer that this is really an educational presentation that we are doing for E4Impact program. And I'm not expecting you to take financial decisions based on the presentation. So would encourage you to take professional advice should you find something we've mentioned today interesting. You need to seek professional advice before you take any actions based on what we have shared. Yeah. All right. So when we talk about seed, right, one of the images that comes to my mind is what I'm showing on the screen. And I still remember when this was discussed in my elementary school class, when we talk about the process of fertilization, right? So it's 1,000 or 1,000,000 sperms that are trying to attach themselves to one egg to be able to form the zygote, and then there you get a baby. So in the chat box right now, I just want you to type in what you think the sperms in this case will be in our scenario. So do you think that the sperms will be the investors, or do you think this will be the entrepreneurs that are looking for funding? So please type in, let me have an understanding of what you think they symbolize. Are the million sperms, are they entrepreneurs looking for funding, or are they investors who are looking for entrepreneurs to fund?
We have a response: entrepreneurs looking for funding.
Okay, any more? Again, another one, entrepreneurs looking for funding.
Yeah, entrepreneurs looking for funding, from Linda and Erasmus.
Can we have at least a couple more? Okay, right. All right. So it looks like the majority of the responses are that there are more entrepreneurs looking for funding than investors who are looking for entrepreneurs. But if you work in the investor community, you would understand that there is actually more money looking for good entrepreneurs to invest in. I mean, most venture capital companies and private equity firms are employing people just to go around to shop for good opportunities that they want to invest in. So that's why you would see a company invest in a hackathon, for example, or invest in a pitch session just to hear out as many opportunities that are available out there. So hopefully at the end of this presentation, one of my aims is to make sure that you are in a position where you are that egg with a lot of investors chasing you. Because the only reason why we are doing the chasing is because maybe we are not positioned properly to be identified, or we are not positioned properly to receive investments. But I'm hoping that at the end of this presentation, we will be that single egg that has a lot of investors chasing. Okay, so if we go right into it, it's just to look at some of the reasons why you may need financing. And I'm sure everybody on the call already has their reason, but I put them into 4 main categories. So the first and really the reason that we see around a lot more is for growth. So you have an idea, you know that your resources are not enough to carry you through that idea. Therefore, you want other people's money, or you want somebody's expertise or resources to be, or connections to be able to help you make that happen. And this is also will become more important in Africa because of the Continental Free Trade Agreement, right? We are going to have a much bigger market. Therefore, entrepreneurs will be able to address a much bigger market, which will mean that you will need more resources to be able to reach that market. Another reason may be that you're already in an existing business which is doing okay, and you want to diversify or venture into a new business. So to do that, you still need other partners to come on board with you so that you could de-risk or perhaps build some synergies that could help you to be able to reach the market that you are looking at. So diversification could be a reason why you would want to have somebody investing in your business. Another important reason is regulation. So depending on the size of the industry you are going to, or the capital barriers, or some industry specifics, especially in the banking sector, then you are required to have a certain amount of capital to be able to even start your project. So this could be a reason why you would want to have an investor participating along with you on that journey. And the last reason which you don't want to be in that category is where there's a hostile takeover, or you are in you are in some trouble, or you are going through a bankruptcy or something like that, and you want some money to be able to cushion you through the process. But whichever the reasons may be, you need to understand that the investor reasons may not be the same as those of the entrepreneur. And therefore, you need to have that broad spectrum of reasons at the back of your mind, so that when you are negotiating and when you are engaging, you are able to arrive at an equilibrium, or a position that gives a win-win solution to all the parties involved. Just to give you a bit of overview of the deal volume and structure around the world, irrespective of the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on the number of investments around the world, we still saw that the volumes are not as bad as was expected, right? Investments in seed capital is still the biggest that investors are going. So the number of deals that are happening are normally in the seed stage than those that are in the Series B or Series C, or the later stages of investment. Despite that high level of deals, you will see on the right-hand side of the chart that the seed or angel stage contributes the lowest when it comes to value of the volume. So seed investments usually has a lot of tickets, like a lot of transactions, but the size of the transactions are very, very small. So there is the amount of money that is being at play in seed investments are relatively small, like about 1%, compared to the amount of money that is going into later stages of the investment. And this, of course, is an indication of the amount of risk that is at the seed stage, right? Because at the seed stage, really, you have not been able to show a lot of traction with your idea, and therefore investors will be a bit more skeptical making that investment. So the risk there it's much higher, and the contributions there are also smaller comparatively. So the African Venture Capital Association recently published their Capital in Africa report, and you can see the distribution of capital or investment across Africa. So the Southern Africa block, as you can see, is contributing about 24% of all the deals that are happening, right? But when you look at the quantum of the deals, then you are thinking more towards East Africa, that has the highest of 18%. So now that we have the idea on how the market is, we want to look into how we can prepare ourselves to be able to receive seed. And this is why I talk about plowing. So if you think again about farming in Africa, then you are plowing a land under the scorching sun, and you are making sure that the land is soft enough to receive your seed. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to be in a position where our businesses or ideas are ready for investment. This is the best thing you can do for yourself. So instead of having an idea and just brooding over it or going around knocking doors, I think it's about time that you spend quality time thinking through the ideas that you have and being ready, because readiness really is the mother of luck. So I'll run through a few ways that I think your business, you can make your business ready for investment. The first is to address what problem you are solving. And thankfully, we are in Africa where we wake up and you see a problem everywhere. So problems are abundant. We have issues with our infrastructure, issues with food security, issues with things that may be considered basic, right? So you need to be able to address exactly what problem you are trying to solve in the market, and then be able to target which section of the market that you are looking at. So do you want to go into a luxury brand of the market? Do you want to be targeting things in a very niche place, or you want to be doing a mass market product that everybody can have access to? Once you have been able to do that, the next thing you are thinking of is to firm up your value proposition or the product that you want to bring onto the market. And with this, at this stage of seed, you just want to be able to bring out that minimum viable product, that single unit of the product, which you could always show to somebody to be able to demonstrate what your idea is and what you are bringing back to the market. Right? Once you have done that, then it's about the business model. So you want to distinguish your idea from being a hobby, and you want it to move it to a place where it can be considered as a business. And to make this happen, you must be thinking about how your business can make money, or at least be sustainable, or make an impact, right? And this is extremely important, because if you can't do that, then you are basically toying with a hobby or with an idea that will not go far, okay? Because the idea that you are pursuing right now doesn't have a lot to show for it, most investors, and whenever there's an opportunity to invest in your business, what we're looking at is the team that is behind that idea. So if I cannot, ideas are very cheap. Everybody has an idea. And unfortunately, at seed stage, you don't have much to show for it. So to invest in your business, we'll be looking at the team that is pushing that idea. So if at least the team has some credibility, or they are able to show some experience, or they're able to show an ability to take an idea from an idea stage to an actual product, that is a big plus for your business, right? So you need to be evaluating whether you are up to the task, or it's about time to invite other people to come on board with you, so that you're able to build a strong team that can carry you forward with that business. My favorite thing about seed investment is traction. And that word, I've boldened it because you can't go around it, right? Traction is not necessarily saying that you are making profit, but if you can show some revenue, that's good, right? But it's ability to show that your idea is getting on. You know, you are getting some customer engagement, so you can show some metrics to say that I have 1 million likes on Facebook, or I have this number of comments on Instagram, or I have this number of people visiting my shop every time I open. You know, stuff like that gives us an idea that you are making progress, you have traction. Again, if you can show that you have some agreements, you know, with vendors or with customers, or you have some MOUs with people who want to trade with you, that gives investors some confidence level that your product is actually almost out there on the market. You can also show traction by showing the licenses that you have, or the patents that you have, or the registrations that you have been able to do for your business, right? Scalability really talks about how you are able to move your business from that small idea and show that it has potential to become extremely big. I mean, there's no point investing in a business if I'm going to have returns of 5 times or 2 times. You want the business to have a scale that it's above, like it's consummate to the risk that you are taking, right? And at this point, I dare say that if you don't have any technology in the kind of business idea you have, it becomes very difficult to scale it economically, right? Because if it's not a tech-enabled business, then it becomes a bit difficult to be able to push it very, very far, okay, for what we would expect to be able to have in returns. The last point, and which is very important for us Africans, is the corporate governance practices, because a lot of these businesses are coming from the informal sector, and they are used to doing business in a certain way. But the day you are inviting a third party into your business, you should be ready to be able to show that your business is ripe to do it the right way. So you are thinking of ethics, you are thinking of processes, you are thinking of internal controls, and some governance structures that can bring trust and confidence in your business. So now we will look to the part that, which is the main focus of today's presentation, is the planting, the seeds that are coming into your business, right? At whatever stage that you are, at least what you have is your equity. So which is what you as an owner, you are putting into the business. So owner's equity is really you having some skin in the game. That means you have a bit of your money in there, or basically you are the one who is, grinding the business or bringing it to where it is currently. And you see nowadays the increase in people who are doing what we call like a side hustle. So you have a main job, and then you also have a side hustle to be able to chase your dreams. So your main job is what funds your dreams, right? So you see more people keeping a day job and then also trying to pursue the entrepreneurship dream so that they can at least pay their bills in the meantime. So sweat equity is important. And as an investor, if you're coming into a business and the business owner only has the idea and has not put any skin in or any bit of their selves into the business, then it's a bit difficult for you to now contribute to that business. So you need to show that you have a bit of yourself in that business before you think of inviting other people in. The second source is your relationships. And here we normally talk about family and friends, but I wanted to stretch it a bit to your vendor relationship and your customer relationships. So your vendors, your customers, your family and friends are people who are dealing with you on a regular basis. And therefore they already have crossed that trust barriers, So they are the first point of contact to be able to bring some cash into your business or resources into your business. For friends and family, it could be cash that they are giving you, or just the mere advertisements that they are doing on their Facebook status or on their Instagram pages. That is something that will help you to be able to move your business forward, right? And for your vendors, I mean, if you are doing good business with a vendor, it will be about time to go to the vendor and say, look, can I take these goods and pay back in 30 days or in 60 days? That already gives you some financing to be able to carry on operation of your business. So we need to remember that all the relationships that we have, even in the business ecosystem, are ways that we can generate financing to keep going on. The third group of investors that I want to talk about is the angel community. And really, this is where you would find most of the announcements as long as seed stage funding is concerned. So you're looking at your incubators, your accelerators, donor funds, some crowdfunding platforms, and you're going into a hackathon or winning a competition and getting some prize money, right? So here it's a big field. Right? Once you are in, and I think I heard Berta say that once you are in an incubator of some sort, then you are able to get access to some donor funding or some international organization funding, which can actually help you move your business forward, at least from the seed stage, until you can have a prototype or to show some traction where you can actually invite the bigger players to help you. So by bigger players, I'll mean the private equity funds or the venture capital funds or some wealth funds. That's where you actually start seeing some serious money on the table for discussion. The last bit is the banks, and few people will go to a bank for seed capital because the banks will usually come with an interest, and you're expected to have specific payment plans, right? So if you're a business that you're just starting and your cash flows are not regular, then you are not able to take such a facility. But I've actually seen people who use either credit cards if they are available in your country to be able to bootstrap for the first few months of their entrepreneurship journey, so that they can at least show some traction to the bigger investment community. So these are really the broad areas of investors, and the name of the game at this stage is to just keep engaging with this community. And one of the good ways to engage is, whenever you meet somebody or you have an opportunity to be at a conference, or you hear of an opportunity, then you want to put in an application, hopefully to get to a stage where you are invited to do a pitch. So if you are invited to do a pitch, your pitch deck should usually show your unique selling proposition. It should have your business model on how you are planning to actually make it work. It should show some traction that you have made, either in customer engagements or in some metric, or if you are lucky enough, in some revenue or sales numbers that are able to tell a story that you are actually making progress. Then another area that your pitch deck should cover is your financials. So if there has been any financials, how much money have you put in? If you yourself have put in some sweat equity, you want to be able to quantify how much you have brought into the business, so that people are able to see how invested you are as a person into your idea. The last bit of your pitch decks will usually address your ask, which is basically what is in it for the investor, right? So maybe you are asking for X amount of money in return for this percentage of shares, or you are saying that give me X amount of money and I'm going to pay it back in this number of months or years. So that's basically the proposal that you are bringing to the table to the investor. So again, these times you need to be working on your pitch deck, you need to be working on your idea, you need to be refining your business model, so that whenever there's an opportunity, you are ready to be able to make that presentation. Once you have been able to do a successful presentation, the investor will invite you for a round of negotiations. And here you need to understand the concept of pre and post money valuation. So there's a valuation before the investment comes in, and there's a valuation after the investment has come in. So when you are discussing your equity distribution, that if it's an equity investment, then you need to understand what percentage you're referring to, whether it's before the investment has come in or after that investment has come in.
I'm going to give you 5 more minutes so that we have a good 10 minutes for question and answer.
Fantastic, thank you. All right, so after negotiations are done, usually the investor will give you a term sheet, which is a non-binding agreement, because nobody wants to waste time to go into due diligence if you have not signed anything. So the term sheet will usually show how the money is going to be dispersed to you, and to actually have some key covenants, and most especially to have a clause that says that you cannot go soliciting for funds from other players as well. In all this, I want you to have an understanding of your exit strategy, right? How all this is going to end. So if you are inviting investors in, have a strategy on how you are going to exit. And this is something that you can work together with an advisor, or you can actually work together with the investor who will be willing to help you with that. So really, this is all I have to share with you today. I put a bit of contact at the end, just in case somebody needs further assistance on how to prepare either your business to receive seed funding, or maybe you already have an opportunity and you need help to be able to strategize around the negotiations, then we are willing to be able to help you. So Beta, that's what I have for today. Thanks for the opportunity. Wow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Annie. You've really managed to address some of the issues that investors find difficulty in having fulfilled, Do you have supply? I mean, is there a market for your problem? That is there a reality to creating a market around the problem that you've identified? You know, and is there demand? And we've also talked about being ready, having the information. So availability of information is very, very important. And yeah, I loved the tree and how to throw your seed around and where to look. So thank you very much. Very insightful, very concise. Thank you very much, Annie. So let me just check if we have any questions for you in the chat box. Not now, guys. If you have any questions, please throw them in the chat box. But I do have questions that came in before. And as you know, on this webinar, we try to just stick to what the entrepreneurs want to know. So some of your questions will have been answered. So I think the first one from Ghana was saying, I need a means to raise a fund to set up a new business. I think you've covered that and spoken a lot about different ways to be able to raise funding. And the next question, Ghana again, how can I build a convincing proposal on an idea that is not peculiar to an investor who is not familiar in that area? So that's an interesting one. How do I write a convincing proposal to an investor who's not familiar with that area? How would you respond to that?
Yeah, so thanks for that question. And really, I was hoping I covered a bit of that, but it's storytelling is what we say. So it's not rocket science. It's not something out of the ordinary. What we do as investors is to hear stories, right? People connect with stories, and stories start with, what is my problem? How am I trying to solve that problem? And how do I intend to make money out of that? The story is as simple as that, right? So you need to perfect the act of telling your story, which is the story of your business. And I think that if you're able to tell a good story, then anybody should be able to understand that, right? So if you think that it is not rocket science, I'm not saying anything from Jupiter. I'm only telling a story which is on Earth, a story that you can relate to. Then your investors are more likely to warm up to you and be able to relate to you on that level. So don't make things too complicated. You're just telling a story of what you want to do.
Wow, I like that. I like the idea of allowing, because at the end of the day, it's all about the numbers, where's the money, and also, connecting with the investor, like you said, so that they also see your vision to solve the problem. So what if a business is an idea that costs more money than you have, yet you have nothing? Say, I think this is from Eswatini, that's 100,000 elangeni, and yet you have nothing. How do you build a strong story around a huge amount of money, requesting for a huge amount of money and convincing an investor to invest in you?
Yeah, thanks. So I would say that if your idea is not bigger than the resources that you have the wrong idea. Okay, so if your idea is such that you can go to your bank account and fund it, maybe that idea is too small. Maybe that idea doesn't have much of a future. So typically, every idea that you have would require more than your personal funds or more than your personal networks. That's what makes it fantastic. So it's not a problem. It's actually a good problem, right? That you have a big idea. If you saw the charts I was showing earlier, in fact, the reason why we may not have a lot of people participating in the seed round is because the amount that we are looking for are usually small in the seed round. Private equity funds usually want money to invest bigger sums of money because they have a fund that they need to invest and they cannot chase 100 opportunities. So they just want 5 opportunities. So if they divide $1 billion by 5, then that's how much the ticket size that they want to do. So fundamentally, having a big idea is not a problem. But to convince somebody on your big idea, again, it speaks to your person. If I have to entrust you with $1 million, I would look a lot at you, right? Are you able to handle it? What's your experience of handling such a sum? What's your experience of being able to move an idea this big from one stage to another? And you do this by taking it in bit sizes, right? So you can, if you can show the investor that yesterday I was at this point, today I'm at this point, and tomorrow I hope to be at this point, then they are able to see along with you how you can carry the idea from being a very small one to that gigantic end product that you are envisioning. So that's what I would encourage you to do. You have a good problem, and you just have to break it down into sizes that you can swallow, and you can allow the investor also to swallow with you.
Okay, another question from Eswatini is how to fit the criteria on one which could receive startup funding. So I think you've covered that. And I think just to add on to that one, what I would want is, in terms of talking about criteria, I would also want to talk about, you gave us some statistics about the global venture deals. In your opinion, it's a good thing that the seed funding, despite the pandemic, has remained very high. But tell us more about the quality of deals that have been made. What do you think about the quality of deals, and what are the trends in what sectors, and what sectors have been these seed funding going to?
Okay, so this brings me back to my very first slide, which is about the million sperms chasing one egg, right? And that speaks to the quality of deals that are around. So it's not like there's no money to go around. It's actually the quality of ideas and the teams that are put together to be able to facilitate the idea. Because I think people are not spending enough time to work on the ideas or on themselves or on the teams that are carrying forward the ideas, right? But with regards to the second question about the sectors that are having most of the flow, luckily, I alluded to that report, the Africa Venture Capital Association report. You would see clearly that is the tech space that is getting all the deals. And the biggest part is the fintech companies. So in the past few months, all the announcements that you hear from either Paystack or somewhere else, they are all related to fintech companies, right? That's where most of the deals are going. But otherwise, there's a lot also going into e-commerce as well. Yeah.
Agriculture.
Sorry, say that again.
Agriculture. Any?
Yes. So actually in Africa, agriculture is playing a very significant role. So if you see across most of the adverts that are calling for people to join either an incubator or join a competition, they are usually agricultural companies based. Again, it's when you talk about the ticket sizes that you don't see the ticket size in agri. But in terms of activity, you see even governments, their activities are actually pushed towards the agricultural sector. So that's actually a good point. If you want to be able to easily access a facility, maybe agriculture is where to look because the tech is a bit crowded. Saying that, as I said in the scalability point, even in agri, you want to be able to put a bit of tech to be able to enhance the agricultural experience, right? Because otherwise, it becomes something that cannot scale. And if it's not something that cannot scale, then people don't want to really look at it. So even if it's a simple idea of managing a tractor service or putting agricultural input for farmers, you want to be able to put that on a platform that is able to, replicate that same model in different countries so that you're able to scale that idea across several countries and maybe even take it across from agriculture to another service sector, right? So no matter where you are, you want to implant a bit of tech into your idea to make it scale quickly.
Right. Look, I actually attended a trade show business conference yesterday, and we proudly speak of Africa as being blessed with natural resources, and I sort of like, I stand corrected, sort of like picked from the conversations from the panel that they're not really like specific certain feedback of what we need to do for scaling entrepreneurs that are in mining. I mean, from your country, and this is a problem that across Africa, maybe of uncertainty in terms of foreign currencies and remittances. So mining sector, I mean, what are investors looking for? How can you be ready? That's my question. How can an entrepreneur in mining be ready? Because we are sitting on all the natural resources the world needs. How do we build impact entrepreneurs in the mining sector?
Yeah. So luckily my background is in oil and gas, so I'm quite familiar with the mining extractive sector. Right? I think that the main challenge in that area is because you can't wake up today and decide to go into the mining or extractive sector, especially because of the level of knowledge, the technology that is involved to participate in that sector, and then secondly because of the capital requirement. So even if you look across our African countries, most of the big players in mining are unfortunately foreign-owned companies that are participating. But there's a big drive, at least in Ghana, where I reside, where the governments are trying to push the local content agenda to encourage as many locals into that space. And that's a very fantastic move. So the challenge for us entrepreneurs is to be able to demonstrate to the investor that you have the know-how and you have the understanding at least of the terrain to be able to move into those spaces, right? Because the amounts you'll be requesting in those areas are quite huge. So you should be able to demonstrate more than just an idea and be able to move it to having a bit of track record and experience. So my encouragement will be, just like many governments are doing, is to pay attention to the local content policies that are available in your country, and to pay attention to the skill set that is required to operate in these sectors, so that you can take advantage of the opportunities that exist. Because really, that's a big area that we could move into.
Yes, I asked this because, in that same slide, you talked about seed funding, but the ticket sizes are not enticing enough. And I'm thinking mining should be able to create a ticket size that will be able to get us the sizes that are enticing to our foreign external investors. So I think, yeah. But I get what you're saying. The skill set, the know-how, the knowledge, and the entrepreneur understanding the scale at which they are operating at.
Yeah,
great.
Exactly.
Yes. Our next question, I think we'll pick. Let me see in the chat. I'm seeing question. Let's see. I think at the plant section, you said one should have skin in the game. Mostly some personal finance. What if one doesn't have finance but has invested time into developing a prototype, for example?
Exactly. That's what we call sweat equity, right? So if you remember the slide, it was skin in the game and then sweat equity as well, right? So if you are putting your time into the business, that's also your skin that you are putting into the game, right? So skin in the game is not just cash, but it's also the sweat that you are putting into the game, which you should be able to quantify as equity. So you should be able to say, look, I built this, I used my time to build this app, I brought it to this stage, and that has to be compensated for. Yes, that's considered.
So I think our last one is, how do we choose investments? How do we know investors are interested in funding our businesses, even after a good story has been told? Maybe I'll add to that, which is our last question for this session. How do I know that it's time to approach a venture capital company or a business angel investor? At what stage do I know when to approach which type of investor?
Yeah.
Or what
okay,
type
so
of investor? That's our last question.
Okay, so this is a very interesting question, because it's like saying, how do I know when I should get married, for example? Like it's something that you have to do a self-evaluation. You need to get to the point where you say that, look, I've got to the point where I think that I need external help. Because, you know, once people come into your business, it's not the same, right? They also bring their experiences on board, and you can't have things the way you used to have them. So it's a very important decision to make. It's not because somebody's bringing money, so yes, you say yes to everything, right? But I would say that go out there for money when you have plowed your land. You know, so when you have done the basic things, so you have firmed up what you really want to do, you firmed up what market you want to address, you firmed up how you want to make money. You at least you have an understanding of what you want to do before you actually start inviting people into the picture. But you also know that when people come in early, they take a bigger stake, right, than when they come in later. So when I'm coming into your business at a stage where you have not done much, then whatever dollar I put in, I expect very high portions of your business. But if I come at a stage where you're already making money and you are producing, then there is a bit of certainty in your progress. Therefore, the percentage that I may be taking from your business may be much smaller. So you need to be thinking about all these things. There is no formula to it, but I would say that it really depends on your evaluation of the circumstances. And then you just go out there. I think there was a question also about how do you attract the people? And you can't do this sitting alone in your room with your idea, right? The idea needs to be out there. There are a lot of incubators, a lot of accelerators, a lot of programs that are going on. You want to join that train, be out there to meet people, to interact with people, and to have opportunities to pitch your idea. That's the only way you actually meet people. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. Our time is up, Annie, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you for coming through to speak to us. I loved the farmer's approach. I believe the farmer's approach is the right approach for an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who builds for something that will impact generations to come and leave a legacy. So I loved your approach of approaching it like a farmer, and you need patience, you need diligence, you need commitment to be able to build that vision into a sustainable business. So thank you very much for coming through this evening and sharing your time with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, thank you. So we as you know, we do not lose contact with our speakers. They remain on our programs in the different countries that we are in. They remain as coaches, they remain as mentors. We create a platform for you to meet them and learn more. So if you're in Ghana, like I said, please contact Andrews. We have an edition starting in October 2021 with the University of Professional Studies. You will be able to meet Annie maybe in person, face to face, as he comes through into our programs. And as I said, in Zimbabwe, in Mozambique, in Ethiopia, Kenya, Sudan, in Sierra Leone, in Egypt, and in Tunisia at the University Central of Tunis. Please contact Shaka and be able to join the program starting in January 2022. Please contact Farida in Egypt at SOD Education Innovation Hub, and also in Sierra Leone. Please contact University of Makeni and be able to join our programs. I do hope that you've enjoyed today's session. If you didn't catch all of it, please go to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to access this webinar and in a few days or a week, and all the other webinars that we've done in this series. So thank you very much for joining us. Please stay safe and we'll see you in the next webinar. Take care. Bye-bye.